here at YCS feeling with Whoa. Please introduce yourself to the world, man.
I'm Bobby Kenny. I got 5th after Swiss at YCS Philadelphia. Sadly lost in top 64, but I was playing a 60 card goldpride P.U.N.K deck.
Goldpride P.U.N.K?
Yeah.
My goodness, what made you decide to use this deck for the awakening, man?
I've been playing the P.U.N.K stuff pretty much since P.U.N.K came out. It's my favorite deck in the game, and it's just anytime I can find a way to make it work. Like this is the build we're on right now. So.
Okay. Before we see the actual deck profile, any shoutouts?
Shout out to definitely to Michael State. He was my biggest testing partner leading up to this. Yeah, to Connor and the whole Degeneracy squad. You know who you are. Yeah, and just everyone back in Orlando as well that just helped me play test for all this. So.
Okay, sweet. Please go ahead and show us the goldpride goo right now.
Yeah, so the deck's first and foremost primarily a P.U.N.K deck, 3 Xiamen. This is the most important card of the deck. Because you want to see this as much as you can, we are playing 18 copies. We have 3 Ogre Dance, 3 Foxy Tune, 3 E-Telly, and this is all standard stuff. Like some people cut Ogre Dance because they're afraid of Droll, but 3 Small World and 3 Dark Spirits Mastery.
Whoa.
So, big thing with this format is you need a ton of non-engine cards to be able to keep up with a lot of the big decks. If you play a standard build with like standard goldpride engine, standard P.U.N.K engine, you only have like 8 to 10 non-engine slots that you can afford. By playing the Small Worlds and the Dark Spirits Mastery, you keep your percentage of seeing your P.U.N.K engine just as high as you would with the 12 copies in 40. It's like 85% versus this like 84.5%. So like by playing the Small World and the Dark Spirits Mastery, you're still going to see your P.U.N.K stuff like almost every single game, but then each of those gives you space for an additional, like playing the Small Worlds it means you can play 7 more non-engine cards, same thing with the Dark Spirits Mastery. Okay. So like the deck's at 60, but there's a lot of non-engine, and this is the reason you can afford to.
Right.
So to finish up the rest of the P.U.N.K stuff, the 1 Sharkusai, pretty standard. Like there's a world where I play 2 of this because it keeps getting Bookamooned, but like it does your fusion play, all your combos go through this. Since you're playing 60, you can afford 2 Deer Note. One of the biggest issues that this deck can have is if your opponent does break your board, it's really hard to crack back. Playing 2 Deer Note makes that, like you have 2 full combo sequences with the second Deer Note, so you'll win a lot of games that you don't.
Okay.
And then the 1 Wagon for the spell and the 1 Madam Spider for the trap. Yeah, like pretty standard. Like some builds cut this. I side these out anytime I'm going second, but yeah, good cards to have. The big reason that you kind of have to play her is if you're doing the baseline with just Xiamen, if you want to get 2 draws off this, the Synchro is your first draw, and then this ends up being your second draw, so. And then Honorary P.U.N.K, 1 Psychic Tracker. You search this with your Dragon Drive if for whatever reason you've already used your field spell summon, or you couldn't get to the field spell. It's just a level 3 extender you can search, and it lets you get into your goldpride engine through Chariot Carry. And then the goldprides play 3 Captain Carry. Technically you could get away with less than 3 of this, but you honestly want to open this in as many games as possible. So it's just you max out on it. This is probably the most common thing you Small World for if you already have your P.U.N.K engine as well. It's nice because everything's level 3, so you can branch really easily. 3 Leon. Older builds, you didn't have to max out on this. Now you pretty much have to, because like you're always going to be searching this. You're always going to be searching this when you do your combo, and then this will get to bring her back if you didn't already have her to get the trap, or get to your 2 rollerballers if you already have her. The reason for this ratio is anytime you open Captain Carry, your Chariot Carry is going to dump the baller and summon and search the Leon with the 2 Better Luck next time. So you'll Chariot Carry for this, dump this, search this. So you'll have this out of your deck already at when you're going into your opponent's turn. Often with the current meta with so many like continuous spells and like the pendulum scales from Super Heavy, you'll synchro Leon and the baller into Dragite a lot of the time, so then you want to be able to have 2 Leon and a baller still in your deck so that you're guaranteed to have the roller baller fusion afterwards. So like a lot of people play only 1 baller, but because of that line being so common, you want to have at least 2 baller. Yeah, so you definitely don't need 3-baller. Yeah, so like this ratio is, maybe there's a world I play 3 of this to see carry a little bit more, but without having an alternate spell search target as it is, like you don't really want to be opening this a ton, so. And then last part of it, most people just play 1 of Start Your Engines, but again, like you want your deck to be able to win the grind game, so similar to playing the 2 Deer Note, we're playing 2 Start Your Engines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and once again, like a lot of the time you'll do the first one, and then that means you will get carry out at some point and get the second one, and then when the game goes past turn 3, you'll have this and it'll secure the game. So those are the 2 engines. That's 38 cards at this point, I think, if I remember correctly. I don't remember if it's 37 or 38 or whatever. But then we have all our non-engine stuff. So 3 Fenrir is like engine and non-engine together. This lets you make Barone really easily, and yeah, it's just Fenrir, search Fenrir. Usually you're waiting to do the search until you know that you're safe against Droll, but it lets you make Barone a lot, and that's really good, and obviously just attack manage stuff. 1 Lava Golem in the main deck. The Dark Spirit's Mastery is mainly there to search out the Ogre Dance, but also can search this, so you play the 1. Like, honestly, this tournament it never came up that I needed to search it, but it's just nice having the option. It's another card you side out when you go first a lot, but similarly, 1 Kurikara, you can small world for this. It outs a lot of boards. If you happen to draw it and you're in that position, great, but a lot of the time it's just kind of there for alternate small world line that breaks boards. Another thing that you often small world for that breaks boards is Gamma. Sad to see this card go, honestly. This card was the absolute MVP of the weekend, won so many games on just Gamma, their normal summon. That's probably the biggest thing of my success is I drew the Gamma way more than I had any business doing in a 60 card deck this weekend, so. But yeah.
How many times you see the driver in your hand?
I drew driver twice, I think. I drew Gamma a lot though. And yeah, like I had a feature match that I won by just going small world into Gamma against Arise Heart, and that was just the game.
What? Oh man.
3 Drone Lock, just best catch, like strongest blowout card. I played against enough Kashtira that I sided this out a lot. Like originally I had a build with Crosshead Designator. I was maining 1 and siding the other 2, and I got 2 more non-engine slots when I cut Nitro Head and the Quick Play Reborn spell from the Gold Pride, but yeah, back on 3 for the event. Definitely do not regret it, even if I sided it out against Cashier all the time. Then 2 Ash Blossom, the just best catch-all, hits everything. You really want this against Labyrinth and Branded. I sided the 3rd one. 2 Ghost Ogre. There's an argument to play more of these as well because this card's really strong right now, but you can search it with the Synchro, so 2 is honestly more than enough. 1 Nibiru. This is, honestly, I didn't want to main deck this card. This is the 1 card in the deck that's a concession to Small World. If you want to go from these into your Punk engine, all of the other Psychics in the deck are already Light or Earth, so you can't branch that way. So this gives you a Light that you can go from this to get to Foxy Tune, or you can go Light and then 600 defense is all of the level 3 Punks.
Oh, wow.
So this one's a concession to Small World, but it's not a bad card at all. So, yeah. And then 3 Book of Moon, best card in the format, honestly, I think. These were imperms until like a few days ago, and every time I saw a Book of Moon resolve in any matchup against anything, it was always a blowout. Switch them for it. Do not regret it in the slightest. And then 2 Triple Tactics Talent. Yeah, just really good board breaker card. Also really nice. Like this deck is weak to Droll, so having this card to be able to rip apart their hand is nice. So yeah, that's the main deck 60 cards. Extra deck. We have our standard 3 Punk guys, fusion thing to do the fusion combo. This guy gets all your level 3 stuffs and lets you draw your cards, and this is like usually your finisher. Yeah, bounce away the board. The Reborn effect came up way more than I feel like it has in the past this event. Like there are multiple games where I summoned this and didn't bounce anything just to use the Reborn effect. Then the Gold Pride stuff, Chariot Carry, Star Leon, Pinballer. You don't play the Link. The Link's too awkward to make, and but all 3 of those come up a lot. There's biggest thing for a lot of decks will play doubles of like the Chariot Carrier, the Dragon Drive. but like there's so many powerful extra deck cards against Kashtira that like no matter which one they decide to take, you will end up having a line to break their board. So you don't really need to double up on anything. So then other synchros, we have the one Dragite. Yeah, Dragite is just the best other level 8 to make. Your waters are your carries and the Punk Fusion. So whenever you get drolled, you can usually do a line to have this live with the Sharakusai, so you can Synchro 11 into the Dragon Drive, or not Dragon Drive, the Amazing Dragon and bounce 3 cards. So that's usually your backup line when you get drolled. Baron, you're usually making that with Fenrir, and then the Psychic and Punisher. A lot of people say this is the best card in the extra deck. It definitely comes up, but it usually is only coming up when it's securing the game. If you're ever in a position where you're making this and passing on it, hoping that it's enough, it's probably not enough. You're going to lose. So that's one big thing I see people do with this deck a lot that I disagree with. Like if you're going Punisher pass, you're not in good shape usually. And then other Xyz, we have Gossip Shadow. If you have a really good hand, you can make this early to be able to negate Droll and then combo through Droll. Otherwise, this is usually there's like Nibiru Insurance or Ash Insurance. Like it's just anytime you have an extra number of punks that you can fuse with, so you can get 2 3s out and make this safely before you go off. Like it just insulates your play. It's really nice. Hope Harbinger is the only 8 I played today. I didn't actually make it during the event, but it comes up a lot against Branded primarily, and in like other weird like situations where really simplified game states you'll make this. But yeah, this event I didn't end up making it. And then the Zeus, I wish I could fit Downerd into the extra deck, but like this is also just usually a panic button. It's not a primary game plan. You have plenty of other ways to clear their field. And then the last extra deck cards was a Link package, also a Unicorn access code. These have been a bunch of different things. Like originally I was between Donner and the Codebreaker guy to out Baguska. And then I was also playing Lambda for a while, but I found that the Lambda lines almost never came up. And it was like one of the slots could have been Excel Stardust for when I pitched the Gamma. But ultimately, I found that the ASA access code line just gives you the most counterplay into a bunch of different disruptions, and I definitely did not regret it. They came up multiple times, so yeah, that's the extra deck. And then side, we side the Nitro Head. It gives your opponent a token so that they can't evenly isn't that popular right now, but I always brought it in going first just in case. And against Kashtira, this card can be an auto win. 3 Cosmic Cyclone and an Archfiend Eccentric. This is here so that I can have Small World double as an out to a Floodgate, and also like against Pearly, I've seen like a bunch of Pearly decks running Summon Limit, a bunch of Pearly decks running Vanity's Fiend. I was like, this card can out both of them, so it's worth it there. One of my losses actually was because when I was siding, I accidentally put the Archfiend Eccentric back into my side deck instead of the Nibiru I was siding out against Labyrinth. Drew it on the one turn I had to out a skill drain before they took over the game, and I was very upset at myself, but yeah, then the other 2 Nibirus and the other 2 Div Incarnates. Yeah, pretty much any matchup that they are good against, you bring them in. Like Kashtira, I've been bringing both of them. This is the one thing I would probably change, is not side the other 2 Nibirus, and these would probably be Lightning Storm and Feather Duster. I found that more often than not, Kashtira was always playing around this anyway, game 2 and 3, and you lose really hard to like Bokamoon and stuff, so just having another card to clear all their back row, so then you just have to deal with the Rise Heart. Also, those cards would pair with the Div Incarnate to break the board. There were times where I had both of them, and it's like, well, if I use one, the other one's dead, so... 3rd Ash Blossom and 2 Ghost Spells. These come in against Labyrinth and against Branded, and other than that, I don't think I brought them in at all. I brought in the 3rd Ash against Kashtira because there's just enough stuff to side out, but it wasn't like a primary game plan thing for that. And then the last card, main spice for the weekend, was Tikaboo. A lot of people they're like, oh, the whole Punk deck is Psychic, you can't play this card. But if you position your boards correctly, anytime you have this, you'll either end on the Hope Harbinger or the Dragite instead of the Punk Synchro, and then you'll have it where it's like you'll have Dragite's a rock, you'll have the Sharakusai as your Psychic, and then you'll have like your Gold Pride stuff is Warrior and Fiend, and then all the extra deck things are even more different types. You have Sea Serpent for the level 11, your Synchro's the Thunder, the and once you've used the Sharkusai to get your Psychic off the field, now you can summon Baller, and then Baller's Fusion is a machine. Meanwhile, Cash can't play under this, Pearly can't play under this, Super Heavy can't play under this. Like, it hits almost all the big decks, so... Sadly, I only drew it once, and the one game I drew it, I got dustered. That was, that was my top 64 game 3. I opened this. Z got drolled after. Foxy Toon got ashed. I set this in the Gabu and got feather dustered into Fenrir Prosperity. Yeah, it's just, I got God-handed game 3. It happens. Yeah. It's Yu-Gi-Oh. But yeah.
Right, it is Yu-Gi-Oh. And,
yeah, that's the deck though.
Yeah, again, congrats on topping.
Yeah, thanks.
62, and yeah, until next time, everyone. Out.